for the next 30 minutes or so, I will be telling you about the talent management updates from the 2022 R2 release. And who am I then? As Minto told you, I am the one of the talent management consultants here at Tietoevry. I have both the HCM core and talent certifications, but I do also have Workday talent management experience from a Workday customer company. Wanted to add that as well. So I'm eager to present the feature release updates to you. Before we go to the actual updates, just a couple of practicalities. First of all, this is just a recap, but feel free to join the Tietoevry Digital HR community. There is a link written on the slide where you can find more information. When it comes to your questions, feel free to add them in the chat, similarly as in the previous PCon presentation. And if there is no time to answer all of the questions during this presentation, we will cover them afterwards. The session is being recorded and you will find the recordings afterwards as well. The handouts of the slides were shared with you earlier, so feel free to go through them and add your own notes on them if interested. The safe harbor statement applies as usual. So you shouldn't be making any purchase decisions based on the forward-looking statements. So then the interesting part, what do we have on the agenda for today? I will kick it off with employee review enhancements and then go to the calibration enhancements. Then I will tell you about the skills updates, as well as the career hub and opportunity marketplace updates, of which we have a few. Then the configurable gig availabilities and mentorships. As it's only a 30-minute slot, I won't have time to go deep into each and every detail of the release update, but at least you will get a nice overview and can then afterwards spend more time looking into the details of the topics that interest you and are good for your company. To get started with the employee review enhancements, and also to add on the slides, you can find the links to the community What's New posts. So the Workday 2022 R2 is enhancing the employee review experience in a couple of several ways. First of all, it's now possible for you to configure employee review help text on one new single task. So that's quite a nice improvement instead of clicking through each and every section to make those changes. And at the same time, it is now possible to add separate help text for employees and managers, something that I know that many customers have been looking forward to see. So when using the guided experience editor, please note only the guided experience editor will support this. You can have different help text for the managers and employees to give them instructions that suit them the best. And this will support both the template help text and the section help text. Workday is also enhancing the guided experience for the additional managers and additional reviewers that are invited to contribute to the performance review evaluations. So in short, the same experience that was earlier there for the other editors, meaning the guided editor and summary editor, is now also there for guided experience. And if your company is not using the guided experience yet, it is something that Workday has been developing a lot, and it's a very cool editor that was rolled out some time ago. I would definitely recommend you to have a look at it. More intuitive for the end users. Then also the additional managers then can now provide section comments in all supported employee review sections and add or delete items in accomplishments, development items, goals, and supporting documents sections. And that's not it, but you can also now configure guided tours for the additional managers and reviewers when using the guided experience. When it comes to the configuration, so first of all, you need to use the guided experience, but then if you do that, you can just use the new task configure employee reviewed help text to get the new help text for the employees and or managers wherever you want to make adjustments. So if you don't do anything your existing help text will be copied to both the employee and manager help text parts. So like, yeah, that will be just as it was before, but then feel free to also adjust it as you'd like. There is a screenshot of the task below. And if you would decide to configure separate manager help text, that text will also be visible to the additional managers when they go in. But then again, the additional reviewers that might be invited to add their input on the competency evaluations, that help text will be coming from the business process help text. As a summary of the employee review changes, so new help text possibilities are rolled out. Additional manager or additional reviewer can now use the guided experience, and the guided tour support is added for the additional managers and reviewers. In all of these cases, you do need to take some steps to make it visible, either to configure the new employee review help text or configure your employee review help text to use the guided experience editor if you are involving the additional managers or reviewers in the process and want them to have the new experience as well. Or for the guided tours, you do need to actually configure the guided tours for the guided experience specifically. Otherwise, they won't show. That was the employee review updates. Next, I will move to talk about the calibration enhancements, which I'm quite excited to share with you. First of all, Workday is improving the collaboration and communication around talent calibration. If the people that are participating in the talent calibration are not sitting in the same meeting room looking at the calibration, it's now more easy for them to contribute online and share their insights about the employees that are being calibrated. So you can now enable the activity stream for commenting on each and every employee that will be calibrated. This is something that you will see in a demo in a bit. Also, the user experience is improved in a couple of ways when it comes to the submitting of the calibration. So it is now possible to hide the inbox summary view for the participants that want to submit the calibration. And at the same time, there is now a new help text where the person submitting the calibration is actually seeing a remark that they need to click on the submit button to continue. From administration point of view, there is also an improvement because now it will be possible to update the completed calibration ratings through an EIB system. And for those of you that are perhaps new to the Workday ecosystem, EIBs or enterprise interface builders will support you in mass uploading data into Workday. There are several EIBs for different kinds of areas within the tenant. When it comes to the configuration, and if you want to start using the commenting feature, you need to enable the activity stream for calibration. How is this done? This is done in the Edit Tenant Setup System task, where you will find activity stream settings, and there you can just select activity stream for calibration. This is tenant-wide configuration, so Workday is recommending you to review the security setup as well. And when it then comes to hiding the calibration summary inbox, if that is something that you are interested in, you can do that in the calibration program setup. So as you can see in the screenshot, there is now a new tick box for hiding inbox summary view. As demos make it a whole lot more interesting, but also easier to understand, next I will show you in a demo tenant what it looks like. I have proxied in as Grayson Rogers, who is, again, a dummy employee. I'm not sharing any real employee data with you, obviously. Grayson has a task to calibrate his team's performance in this field sales emerging markets group supervisory organization. I will go to the full screen viewing mode to make it look a bit nicer. First, I will show you what the activity stream feature looks like and how your users can start using it if it's enabled. There are two ways to access the activity stream and the comments. One is by clicking on the employee, waiting for a bit, and then scrolling down. Here you will see this new comment box where you can add a comment. Let's say this employee had a magnificent performance in a certain project, and for that reason you might want to consider the performance, or whatever your people might want to add. And the other way to access the activity stream comments is from the list view in the calibration. And maybe just as a short recap, so here we have a performance calibration where we have four employees in a team, 3 of which are plotted in this meets performance rating. We have 5 performance ratings here in total, and we also have an unplotted employee. If I would want to drag this unplotted employee to one of the boxes, I could do so, and I could also calibrate the performance by dragging employees from one box to another. That is just for you that haven't been using calibration previously. Besides performance calibration, it's also possible to build talent calibration programs. But then back to the activity stream. From the list view, you can also access the activity stream, and here we can see all of the employees and related information. We can also see these comments here, and I can see that something was written about Ainsley. And I can see that Logan, who was participating in this calibration as a facilitator, has added a comment. See the recent good feedback on this employee. And Logan has also tagged Grayson. Now I could just continue the discussions, add my own comments, and that would be it. Also, because Logan tagged me, Grayson, obviously, I will get a notification so that it's not missed. Here in my notifications inbox, I can see that Logan has mentioned me in a comment in a worker calibration event. I can go and view the details. This will show you something more about the worker. Then if I scroll down, I will see the activity stream comments. Also from this notification, I can go back to the in progress calibration event to continue. Now the next improvement that I wanted to demonstrate to you is related to the submitting of the calibration. So from the actions, you can go ahead and submit the calibration whenever you're done. And there used to be an inbox view showing where each and every employee is plotted, but because I have adjusted the setup of this calibration program and ticked the new checkbox, I'm not seeing that here. But what I'm seeing is the new help text that Workday added to really ensure that people know that they need to click submit once more. So I could just submit this and then be done with the calibration. That's it about this demo. We'll go back to the presentation. And please, again, if you have any questions, just ask them in the meeting chat. A couple of, all right, actually just one additional consideration for you is that once the calibration event is complete, the managers or HR partners cannot view or edit the comments anymore for the activity stream, and the comments are also removed from the calibration reports. So just good to be aware of that. As a summary, so when it comes to calibration, what is changing is activity stream, hide inbox summary, EIB support for updating the calibration ratings. Next, a couple of words about the skill updates. It's all building upon the new, well, it's maybe not new anymore, but the skill cloud feature that Workday has enabled some time ago. First, now it will be possible to update and maintain job profile names, descriptions, and skills data in bulk at the same time using worksheets. There will be a new worksheet where you can use that and select all suggested skills using prompts, and also other skills can be selected. This will be in preview later this week, so cannot see it yet. Then it's now possible also to import external skills from a third-party system or import externally calculated skill levels. So when it comes to importing the skills, Workday will match the external skills that you want to upload to either the Skills Cloud skills or other maintained skills that you have in your Workday tenant. So it's not so that you would import a whole new set of skills into Workday, but Workday will do the matching towards the skills that are already in the tenant. If a skill that you want to upload is nowhere near the skill that you want to upload, then you can create a new maintained skill. How does it work in practice is that when you are working on a load template to get your external skills into Workday, Workday will propose to match exact synonyms to one another, so that if there is a Skills Cloud skill called business development and then an external skill that we want to upload also called business development, then those would be matched, obviously, because it's the same skill. If there is no exact match, Workday will look at synonym matches, for example, derivative versus derivatives, where you can then approve the suggestion on the match. Or you can also decide that no, it's not a match, it's a totally different skill. So then you can just create a new maintained skill. That's it in short. When it comes to importing the externally calculated skill levels, this means that again, from third-party systems, you can import the skill levels related to a worker, meaning with skill levels, I mean if an employee is, for example, a beginner in a skill or an expert, and you want to get this information through to Workday. Even if you do this, you could use the new external skill level in the worker skill level calculation. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about when I'm talking about worker skill level calculation, it is this relatively new feature where you can use different sources, for example, employee self-evaluation on a skill, now externally calculated skill level, but also requested skill feedback to calculate worker skill level based on a certain weighting that you can define. Just quickly on the configuration part, you need to have the Skills Cloud enabled for both of these features. You also need to add skill vendors to recognize your external third party. And then you need to do some security setup first and then start using the EIBs for uploading the information. Okay, I will move ahead to my summary. So 3 new features related to skills. Skills and job profile workbook, import external skills and the skill levels. Some configuration is required for all of these features. If you do nothing, nothing will happen. So clear in that sense. And then some additional notes on skill updates. First of all, there is another interesting skill-related feature that Anthony Castan will cover later today in the compensation presentation, that is skills for compensation reviews. And also something that I wanted to point out is that between the previous release and this one, Workday has now rolled out this new feature for skill level self-assessments and calculations, something that I referred to earlier, that went to production in May, and I definitely recommend you to have a look at it. You will find the link on the handouts. Next, Career Hub and Opportunity Marketplace features. Workday is improving the searching and filtering for mentors, connections, gigs, and jobs in the Career Hub and Opportunity Marketplace. And also there will be new configuration options for the filtering and also the job level preference hierarchy based on which you are getting or the employees are getting job suggestions. The Career Hub is now supported in mobile, which is great. And then another new feature is that Workday is improving the job suggestions experience and starting to use the opportunity graph or the previous movements between job profiles as a background for the job suggestions. This is again another feature that is not in preview yet. For the configuration part, the setup will be required if you want to indeed configure the Career Hub and Opportunity Marketplace new features. There is a domain that you need to enable and a new task that you can use to actually make the changes then. Then the Career Hub suggested opportunities for job profiles using the opportunity graph information will also require setup. That's not yet in preview, and the configuration steps were not handed out yet. Next, another demo that I want to show you. Again, I'm in as Grayson Rogers, and I want to navigate to the Career Hub. Let's say I want to check out the new filtering for mentors first. Here you can see tabs for mentors, gigs, jobs, and you would also see connections if that was enabled. There is a filtering option for all mentors or suggested mentors. I don't have any suggested ones here, so I will just click on all mentors. And then here I can use the new, either the new filters or the new search option. Besides employee name and things like that, you can also search by location, let's say Atlanta, and you will get the mentors that are available in that location. Similarly for jobs, for example, if you would say that Grayson was very enthusiastic in call center manager positions, you could look for those opportunities here using the new search option, which is quite nice. And then I will stop proxy, which takes me to the admin Logan's inbox. And I will just show you the new task for maintaining the Career Hub and Opportunity Marketplace. So in the previous example, you saw all of the standard filters that Workday is enabling, which means the default configuration, but you could also decide to use customized configuration instead, meaning that you can select from the Workday enabled filters. Let's say you would want to have a location and another filter in expected availability, and then you could just change the order or add label overrides. Also, for job level preferences, you could, instead of the default job suggestion order, you could decide to use something else. For example, compensation grade, if that would mean more, like better job suggestions for your employees, looking at their current level and +1 level. It was just a quick demo. I will move back to my presentation. In summary, improved search and filtering, new configuration options, Career Hub for mobile, and then Career Hub suggested opportunities for job profile, which we will see later. When it comes to configurable gig availabilities, by gig availability, we mean the availability of the employee to take part in a gig. Let's say it could be a number of hours per week, or it could also be something else. Now that it will be possible for admins to configure custom values for the gig availability. For example, flexible availability, something that we haven't seen in the tenants now. You could also set a default gig availability value for the users to see. There is actually a plan for Workday side to retire all of the delivered gig availability values in a couple of years from now. So good to start considering this perhaps, and what would be nicest for your company. In the configuration part, you can just navigate to the maintain gig availabilities task, and here add new ones, set the default, and make the changes that you want to do. Something on the mentorships as well. First of all, there is a new task available for my mentorship preferences, where you can, or the employees can edit their preferences in one place. Some report improvements are also done that you can find more details on the slides or in the community. Due to time constraints, I won't go through each and every bullet here in detail again. Then start dates and end dates are added in the Manage Mentorship business process, and also in the web service, there are now added validations, for example, looking at the start and end dates. Then again, setup is required on to reporting related topics, and you could add My Mentorship tab in the worker profile in the career section if you wanted to. And then also another mentorship events awaiting action worklet that you could enable on dashboards. What's more, in the Career Hub, you would be able to see the current mentorships, including the mentor skills and the purpose, but some configuration is required. A couple of other features. Workday will start automatically cleaning up retired Skills Cloud skills, and also the gig matching is improved. Please read more about that if you are using gigs and are interested in the improvements. Next, just quickly to have a look at the roadmap on Workday talent management. You could visit the Workday community page for a more thorough talent roadmap and a really nice video of what's to come. I have actually myself really enjoyed watching that. And again, a link can be found in this presentation. Then the key themes. Workday has grouped the talent roadmap under 3 different themes. First of all is skills everywhere, then talent and performance, and then thirdly, career and mobility. So as skills have been a big thing on Workday side recently, they continue to develop on that. And for example, look at skill integrations and internally assessed skill levels. In talent and performance side, Workday will do goal enhancement. And then in the career and mobility side, it will be about giving feedback on suggestions, improving the mobile support in that area, and then also improvements in the gig notifications and promotions. That was the presentation for talent management for the 2022 R2 release, and I would really like to thank you for joining. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. At least I cannot see any new questions in the chat, but if you add them afterwards, we will email you the answers. So thanks on my behalf. And before you go, I hope you won't go, but we'll continue watching this presentation about the new feature release updates, but take some time to answer this feedback survey. A link to the survey was also shared in the chat. And if you have more questions, again, my name is Anna Lamberg, so you can see my email address on this slide. Thank you, and I would like to hand it back to Minttu. Thank you.